Dolphins fans, how's it going? Welcome to the channel. Thanks for watching. If you wouldn't mind, give it a like, comment. We're gonna cover just we're gonna we're gonna do state of the AFC East since so much things have happened in the last day or two. I'll start with our Dolphins. Right now we're in third place in the AFC East, at 2-3, tied with the Jets for second, but third place technically. And I know that we're still last place in the NFL for offensive scoring, but I want to just throw this out there, and here I go again with this optimism crap. But I feel a little more optimistic after the Patriots game. I know that the Patriots are the Patriots, but some things happened in that game we talked about with the recap of the game, and especially with the run game and Mike McDaniel's play calling, that I feel a little optimistic, and I think that if they can just keep growing and building on that, I think we'll be okay. I really do. Tua, Mike McDaniel on Monday said that Tua, his progress through the protocol for concussion was looking good, and there have been no setbacks. And realistically, I really think that he'd be good to go now, but he can't practice until the week before the Colts game. The week before the Cardinals game. So as soon as the Colts game is over, I would expect to hear that Tua is going to return to practice, and then he'll finish those last two stages of the concussion protocol, because the last two stages revolve directly around playing and practice, having practices, full practices without any... sorry, I got a little bit of a cold. It's Fairbanks, Alaska, and it's freaking getting cold. And this is what happens usually during the fall. I get a little cold. But there's been no setbacks, and I would expect Tua to play in the Cardinals game coming up. So we've got this week of a bye, and then next week we've got the Indianapolis Colts to play. I'm slightly worried about Joe Flacco, but I think that if our defense continues to play the way they've been playing, I think we'll do okay. Let's see, anything else about Miami that I wanted to mention? Real quick, I found out that Christian Wilkins is for the Raiders. He's going to be missing some time. He had to have a surgery, and that's not really good for us, and here's why. We were going to get a compensatory pick for him, and it was either going to be a second or a third round, I think. I'm not sure which one it was, but him being injured and having surgery, and meaning that he's going to miss a lot of time, that tells me that that's going to affect our comp pick, and not in a good way. So kind of keep your eyes open for that near the end of the season, especially depending on how many weeks he misses, which could be good, could be bad. Kind of stupid at figures, you know. Let's see. I guess we can move on. I feel pretty good, especially considering everything that's going on in the AFC East right now. The division is tight, and you really couldn't expect a better situation for how crappy we've been playing, and all the bad luck that we've had. Not just the bad play, but the injuries, you know, and everything else. I feel like this could be the beginning of a turning point. Like I mentioned, I'm not saying that we've turned it around and we're going to be great now and go back to, you know, scoring 30, 32 points a game. I don't know that, but I know that I'm that optimistic fan all the way up here in North Pole, Alaska. Just, maybe we'll be good this year. Maybe we'll still be okay. I don't know. If I had to be a betting man, I would probably bet against us. But as a Dolphins fan, I'll never pick anybody to beat us in any pick'em league or anything. In fact, in the pick'em league that I'm in right now, it's in Dudley Durong's pick'em league, and I have picked the Dolphins every week, and I'll continue to do that. That's what I do. I want my team to win. I'll never pick against them, even if they're the worst team in the NFL playing the best team in the NFL. I'll still pick the Dolphins to win. I'll take that L if I have to. Moving on, let's just go through. Talk about the Buffalo Bills. Last Sunday, they lost to the Texans. And in that game, I'm sure you've seen the footage. Josh Allen got wrecked. And I mean, I don't want to see anybody take a hit like that. I mean, I've played plenty of football in high school and college, and I've never wished a concussion on anybody. Concussions suck. I've had plenty of them, and I don't even know what that's going to do to affect my life, or what it has done even, And that's the scary part. You just don't know. That whole incident where he got that concussion, he walks off the field and gets, walked off the field and goes to the blue tent. He's in there for like 2-3 minutes max. And you can go watch the whole thing. I mean, he wasn't in there very long, guys. And then he comes out and he's standing there on the sideline. He grabs his helmet and someone hands him some smelling salts. Now, if you're standing up and walking around, there is no need to be handed smelling salts unless you are messed up. Back in the day, they used to hand smelling salts to people who had concussions, and they didn't really know how to treat it. It wasn't a thing. It was just, you got your bell rung, smell these salts real quick and get back in that game. And, well, that was how it was done back in the day. That's not how it's done anymore. And, being a Dolphins fan, and you guys being Dolphins fans, those of you that are, you see it. You see what happens with these concussions. People will be taken out and evaluated. And an evaluation in a tent for a concussion usually takes at least 8 to 10 minutes. And he's out of there in 2.5, 3 minutes. And then he gets handed the smelling salts and he goes back in the game on that next possession. And I got to be careful because I wish no harm to any player. Jets, Dolphins, Patriots, Bills, no, none of them. Any team. I don't want players getting hurt. I want to beat teams at full strength. That's what I want our Dolphins to do. I want them to beat teams without an excuse for the other team. But I really feel like the NFL should be investigating the Buffalo Bills in this because it's not being handled right. Josh Allen was knocked out cold. His hands were dragged up like this on the ground. And I'm sorry, but if you get thrown on the ground and you go to break your fall like this with your hands out, wrists bent outward, his wrists were like this, dug into the ground. Guys, that's a concussion. That's being knocked out cold and just letting your hands drag up on the ground like that. It was hard to watch, but at the same time, was anybody else watching this? Was anybody watching Josh Allen knock the hell out in the middle of a game, and then 10 minutes later, he's back in. 10 minutes total. Back in the game. You see him sitting on the sideline. He's not okay. At the end of the game, he's sitting there on the bench, and then another player comes over and taps him on the shoulder, hey, let's go. Come on, game's over. And he looks up like, oh, and he gets up. Come on, man. That's a concussion if I've ever seen one in my entire life, and I'll stand by that. I'm not saying that I'm 100% right all the time, but I'm saying in this situation, that was a concussion. And the fact that the NFL isn't even doing anything, here it is, 2 days later, and we haven't heard jack. Not from the Bills, not from the NFL, from nothing, nobody. He should be in concussion protocol. And when you're in concussion protocol, it has to be announced. He's not. He's not in concussion protocol. NFL needs to investigate this. It's forced on teams to have players put in concussion protocol sometimes. And for the Bills, they're not going to do it. Something's wrong. Something's fishy. I don't buy it. This is Tuesday night, and as of right now, there's been nothing. No news whatsoever. Even Bills fans are confused by this. They don't even understand what's going on. Dan Mitchell from the AFC East Roundtable and Bet US TV, He even said it. Manuel Acho on ESPN said it. What is going on here? That was a concussion. So I'm not the only one. I'm not just saying it because I'm a Dolphins fan. All right. Moving on to the Patriots. I'll touch on this really quick. They announced today, Jerome Mayo announced today, that the new starter for the Patriots going forward will be Drake May. After Week 5, they're gonna go ahead and bench Jacoby Brissett, and they're gonna put Drake May in to start the next game, and they'll move forward with him. I don't know if it's a good decision or not. Personally, I think it's a bad decision. The offensive line for the Patriots is absolutely horrible, and I feel like you're setting that young man up for failure. You're going to put him behind an offensive line that's going to give him 1.5, 2 seconds to throw the ball max and to make a decision. This is the NFL. It's not Pee Wee football. And I feel like it's not putting, at the very least, it's not giving Drake May a good opportunity to flourish. Now it is, I'll give it this, it is playtime. It is experience in that respect. But it's just a bad situation to have to be expected to go into the game. But that is what it is. I can't front too much. Obviously, Jacoby Brissett leaves a lot to be desired in the quarterback realm. He's tough. I'll give him that. But I thought that, I kind of figured, and most Patriots fans did too, that Jacoby Brissett was brought in to kind of be the punching bag to get through this year so they could finish the rebuild next year. If any Patriots fans are watching this, comment and let me know what you guys think about this, because I'm kind of, I have YouTubers and friends that cover the Dolphins and the Bills and the Jets, but I don't know many people covering the Patriots. So if you as a fan have some insight there, go ahead and share it with me. Comment, let me know what's going on from inside Patriots world. I do hope Drake May does well. I don't wish any bad things on him either. I actually kind of like Drake May, so hopefully he does all right. Just not better than the Dolphins, and hopefully when we play the Patriots in a few weeks, hopefully he has some struggles during that game, but no injuries. I don't want injuries. We'll move on to the big one. The one that's just every hour, it seems like something else comes out about it. Robert Saleh has been fired by the New York Jets. Fired. And I love how on Twitter, or X, I'm sorry, and all these news sites and everything, it says, not fired, but it says that he's been released, let go. No, he wasn't let go. He wasn't released. He was fired. He was canned. Robert Saleh showed up today to go to work. He showed up, walked into his office, and the GM walked in and said, "Hey, get your stuff and get out of here. I'll have security escort you out." And I'm not embellishing this. Security escorted him from the building and made him leave. He didn't get to talk to his players. He didn't get to say goodbye to anybody. He just had to grab his stuff and get out. And I don't know. I figured as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. Why would they fire him? He's a defensive coach. He's not the offensive coordinator. And the problem with the Jets is the offense. And I didn't expect to have to say that this year. I figured that the Jets offense would be a lot better. But if you look at the stats, they're not even doing better than they did with Grandma Hunter, Zach Wilson. It's about the same. The same record, same everything. I don't understand why they would fire him, Saleh, and not fire Nathaniel Hackett. He's the offensive coordinator. He's clearly the problem. Hackett sucks. And he should have been fired. They should have just canned him. And they didn't. They fired Robert Saleh. Now he has no job. They're going to have a interim head coach, and I think there's only been one team in NFL history that made the playoffs after they fired a coach midseason and hired an interim head coach, I think that was the Raiders with I can't remember. It might not even be any teams. I thought the Raiders did it, but I'm not sure. Um, so there's that. And I'm not saying that for sure it's the end of the Jets season, but it doesn't bode well. And what usually you see happen is, they'll get an interim head coach and they'll do good for a couple games. But that's about it. And then usually the true colors show the struggle of a new head coach. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But a few hours ago, another report came out that, well, a couple. First, there was a report after the firing that the GM called Aaron Rodgers on Monday night, the day after the game, and they had a conversation. Now the GM says, "Oh, we didn't have a conversation about Robert Saleh," but they had a conversation that night, and then the next morning, Robert Saleh gets fired. Now, you've seen the videos where Saleh and Aaron Rodgers have their little, what looks like spats, issues, genuine dislike for each other on the sidelines constantly. Like every other game, you see something. So you kind of figure that Saleh is not being liked by Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers seems to control that team because as soon as that happened, he gets fired the next day. And there was also an interview where Aaron Rodgers was being interviewed after the loss, and they mentioned Aaron Rodgers about Saleh saying, "Well, we'll just have to take out some of that stuff out of the playbook that the players are struggling with." And Aaron Rodgers says, "Well, that's one way to look at it. That's one way to take care of that issue, or you could just hold people accountable." It didn't seem like a nice comment. It seemed kind of like a shot directly at Robert Saleh. So I kind of feel like that was the beginning. And then we had the Aaron Rodgers conversation with the GM. Then the next day he gets fired. And then we find out a few hours ago that Robert Saleh was pretty much on his way to fire Nathaniel Hackett. But he got fired first. What? So this literally seems like Aaron Rodgers got in the ear of the GM and got him to fire Robert Saleh before Nathaniel Hackett, who is Aaron Rodgers' little buddy, before Nathaniel Hackett got fired, because he was going to get canned. And I still feel like Nathaniel Hackett needs to be canned. I don't think the Jets are going to do well until Nathaniel Hackett is canned. And I guarantee you, if the Jets don't make the playoffs and win a couple playoff games this year, if that doesn't happen, Nathaniel Hackett's getting canned. And I wouldn't even say that Aaron Rodgers will be safe. Especially the way he's been playing. Aaron Rodgers has not been playing well. He had one game that was decent out of 5. So it's a mess in the AFC East, guys, and all of a sudden being a little lowly Dolphins fan here, it's sitting at 2-3, doesn't quite seem as bad. I mean, it's still bad. We got issues, but I feel like there's a lot of problems in the AFC East right now with every other team, not just the Dolphins. So hold your heads up, Dolphins fans, and let's buckle up for the rest of the season. I mean, it doesn't get any more interesting than this. It's week 5. You're going on week 6, and sitting at 2-3 with another team at 2-3 and another team at 1-4 and another team leading the division at 3-2 is tight. Anything could happen. This is going to be an interesting season, and we might not have as many wins as last year. Hopefully we do. Hopefully we win 7 straight. I mean, I don't know, but I'm going to choose to take the optimistic road. I'm going to choose to be faithful, take the faithful road. I'll still criticize things when things go bad, like watch my videos. But, I mean, what else am I going to do? Stop watching football? Give up on the Dolphins? Go be a Patriots fan? Rebuild? Yeah, no. If a rebuild comes in the next couple years, fine. But I'm going to root for the Dolphins till the day I die. Every game, I'm picking them to win it. So let's go. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Thanks for taking the time to sit here and check this out. Hopefully I'll put out another video here around probably Friday or Saturday and just I'll go over my pick'ems for the week. I think I'm 10th place in Douglas Do Wrong's pick'em league, so we'll see how it goes. Not doing too bad in it right now, so I'll put my picks out for you guys on Friday or Saturday. Obviously, I'm gonna miss the Thursday night game, but I'll show you my pick'em for that one too. Hopefully, everybody has a good evening. The people down in mid-Florida that are going through the hurricane, praying for you guys. Stay safe. Get out of there if you need to. Don't be dumb. And we'll see you guys in a few days. Fins up.